Hey, welcome to the community podcast. We're recording live from my house. This is Big Condo Radio, and we're working remotely here during these current times. And so, once always, I'm choosing to speak with someone that I respect, I enjoy, and I hope that will be someone that you would love to hear from yourselves. So, I would like to welcome my guest today, Garth Dallas.
Hey Chase, how you doing? It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, Garth, it's good to have you because you're a man that is hard to lock down. I'm I'm able to finally get you like to myself. Because I remember hey, you try to get Garth, and everybody's trying to get Garth. So it was well done. To see you. Also, I'm glad you made it home safe because you went away at the beginning of these times and everything. You went to some nice tropical place that we all would like to go to, but you made it home safe.
Indeed, I did, and that's the reason why your pun about how difficult it is to lock me down was quite appropriate because I have been locked down for the
Yeah,
past 10 days. It's been
yeah.
a voluntary lockdown because I did travel to Jamaica to attend a family wedding and did
Hmm.
the responsible thing when I came back into the UK to lock
Yeah,
myself away and lock myself down and did a self-imposed isolation. And luckily, happy to say that we're healthy,
yeah,
and so far there hasn't been any symptoms. But having said that, my thoughts go out
yeah,
to all the families around the world that are affected by this pandemic, which pretty much is touching every single corner of the globe, and it shows
hmm,
even more how much we are a global village and how
yeah,
connected we are, and how much it is difficult to avoid the fact that whatever happens in one part of the world
yeah,
will invariably affect another part of the world.
yeah. Well, that being said, like we're all pretty much communicating through social media right now and everything. And I have to say, I was kind of jealous of the fact that, you got back and lovely friend, mutual friend of ours, Michelle O'Brien, was able to deliver you a care package. And I'm pretty sure it was a pretty good one. And I was like, where's mine? Are we friends? What's going on? you know, because that's what's happening. It makes me realize how old I am because people will say, "Hey, do you need help, bro? Do you need me to get you something?" But what's important is how our community has come together in these times. So I just wanted to acknowledge that as well. With a little bit of jealousy.
It is a great gesture, and I want to big up our mutual friend Michelle Adwyer for that. It was a bit of a surreal moment, to be honest with you, because
Mm.
myself and Michelle and my wife Claire, we get on really well, and we're usually very tactile, and we're usually getting
Yeah,
together and giving each other hugs and all of that stuff.
I'm a hugger.
Uh,
Yeah.
so it was a little bit surreal where she came in on her own
Mm.
volition. There was no request sent out, but she knew that we'd been away and she knew that we had got back, and she offered to bring
Yeah.
some supplies round. But the surreal bit was the fact that she would deliver on our doorstep and then walk away and then and
Yeah.
collect. So there is
Well,
always
I'm pretty sure it was good
another
though.
side to every story.
I'm pretty sure it was good though. And
It was
everything.
good. It was absolutely good, but it was a great moment in various ways. But it
Yeah.
also highlighted how much one has to be responsible and careful
Yeah.
in following the guidelines around how we keep ourselves safe, not
Hmm.
for our own health, but also to make sure that we're not putting others at risk. And that is
Yeah.
this COVID-19 pandemic has raised, and different countries, particularly across the Commonwealth have responded in different ways, but the common denominator now in terms of medical advice is that we should be very mindful of our neighbourly duties, but also making sure that we keep ourselves safe, keep our distance, wash our hands, and do all the various stuff that we've been advised to do.
Yeah. Now, I mean, so speaking of that, I mean, you're involved in many different things, a lot, but most there are things that are closest to your heart. So, I mean, like, can we chat a little bit about the Commonwealth, the groups that you set up? Because, like, you started this like over a year ago, and it's still going strong, and can you just tell us a little bit about the Commonwealth Group, because I've been talking to different people that have been involved, but you as the head, it'd be nice to hear from you about maybe how that's going in these times. Is it still moving, and what's going on about it?
The Commonwealth Association in Liverpool actually started way back in 2014. It was an idea that was born out of the International Festival for Business back in 2014. And our colleague, Councillor Richard Kemp, had brought a bunch of high commissioners to Liverpool as part of the business festival. And out of that was born the idea that maybe we ought to set up an association that looks to represent the interests of the diaspora communities that have been dispersed across Liverpool. At the time, it was just Liverpool, and look to see what their needs and aspirations are, and a group that would look to be a strategic body to represent those views. Officially launched in 2015. And I was one of the founding members, along with various others across the communities came together. We were the founding members of the Liverpool Commonwealth Association. I took over as the chair in 2019. And since then, took over from Gary Miller, who was the previous chair before myself. And Gary stays on board and still is on board as our honorary president, and my role has been pretty much to galvanize a board of trustees from the diaspora communities, representing the Commonwealth block of nations, which back then it was 53 countries in the Commonwealth. Since then, the Maldives has joined, so we now have 54 countries in the Commonwealth and across Liverpool City region. And I emphasize that we're not just representing Liverpool City, but we're representing Liverpool City region, all the 6 boroughs across Liverpool City region. And we have identified actively probably around 32 of the 53 countries being represented within the Commonwealth Association, not just as members, but various communities that we have been working with and we have identified. And our whole existence is based on engaging with the diaspora communities. And by the way, when we say diaspora, we include the UK within that. And, because the UK is part of the Commonwealth, and in fact, the Queen is the head of the Commonwealth. So membership of the Commonwealth Association isn't just for individuals who are, dispersed from Commonwealth countries, but if you're born in the UK, you can also be eligible for membership of the Commonwealth Association. And we've been very active, and as you know, we've had a active events calendar. Those events look to bring communities together. It's about community cohesion. You've
also set a women's forum too, haven't you?
That's right. We've got a very active women forum, which is chaired by our good friend Dr. Sylvia Chaplin Campbell, and women empowerment and gender equality is a significant pillar within the Commonwealth of Nations, and within the Commonwealth Charter. Gender equality is a major issue. It's a major priority. It's a major priority around the Sustainable Development Goal, but it's a major priority within the Commonwealth bloc of nations. And we have followed that lead, if you like, to make sure that the women within the Commonwealth diaspora communities across Liverpool are well represented, and their views are taken into consideration across a Liverpool City region policy around gender engagement and gender equality. So we feed into that, and we feed into what's happening on a business perspective as well, not just in terms of bilateral trade with the Commonwealth. It makes sense because we talk about the Commonwealth advantage, which is it is calculated that it is 19% cheaper to trade between Commonwealth countries. It's common language, common legal system, common practices, etc., etc. So it makes trading within the Commonwealth even more feasible, especially now that the African bloc have formed the African Union. So as a result, the rest of the Commonwealth can trade with Africa as a bloc of nations, and we're pretty much positioning Liverpool and Liverpool City region in the center of that movement to make sure that, first and foremost, we encourage our Commonwealth members to look at entrepreneurship as a means by which they can empower themselves and employ. It's about sense of belonging. So they tap into what's happening across Liverpool City region around a inclusive economy and setting up more sustainable micro businesses and small businesses is a crucial strategy within the inclusive economy strategy across the Liverpool City region. So we're getting our Commonwealth businesses to position themselves as the ones who can add that value for Liverpool PLC, Liverpool City Region PLC, to trade with the Commonwealth nations. And we also focus on cultural exchange as well. That's what we do, a lot of cultural events and sporting events and stuff like that.
But definitely, I mean, your involvement in this past year has been phenomenal as far as keeping it active, like into the public consciousness, not just in the background, especially like what you're saying around entrepreneurship and everything else like that. You're keeping the awareness going for like BME companies and, small businesses and all of that, and that kind of like segues us into the Good Business Festival, which is not a Commonwealth project, I understand, but it is also a project that you're involved in, aren't you?
Absolutely correct. For me, I've always believed that business development and diversity and inclusion within business development is a crucial aspect of any 21st century business unit on any 21st century policy around engagement. Because you have to create wealth, whether that be in terms of profit companies or social enterprises who create surplus. You have to create packages to meet a need or to satisfy a need, not a want, a need. And I believe that gone are the days when businesses look only to satisfy their shareholder value. That is no longer sustainable. Every business now has to look to see how we can satisfy a much wider stakeholder mapping. And your stakeholder mapping will include, yes, your shareholders or whoever your wealth creation is being managed by, whether it be your trustees or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, you also need to look at how you look after your other stakeholders, your employees,
Mm,
your suppliers, the
yeah.
environment, and that's what the Good Business Festival is all about. And that's the reason why it was so important that I get involved with that, because it's a continuum of the work that I've been doing around diversity and inclusion for many, many years. And it's embedded in what we do with the Commonwealth Association as well. And I saw a brilliant opportunity for the Commonwealth of Nations to be seen post Brexit. Remember, there was also that conversation going on for a while about Brexit.
Yeah.
Seen as a pivotal stakeholder in moving forward for UK PLC and trade deals, etc., etc., etc. So yes, the Good Business Festival, which is scheduled for October this year, is different. And the reason why it's different is because it looks to see how we can promote a responsible dialogue, responsible discussion around what is a good business in the 21st century. Not necessarily us coming with the answers and saying that this is what good business should look like, but we set the platform for discussions around that. But yet again, Liverpool City Region is seen as the global lead on a particular subject matter. Likewise, which is what we did with the Commonwealth Association, Liverpool City Region is seen as a leader, not just in the UK, but internationally as well, because a lot of people coming to us asking, how did you create your model? How can we replicate that model in engagement with the Commonwealth? That's what we're doing with Good Business Festival as well.
Yeah, because I think also what's important about like what you're saying is the social inclusion part. I mean, because I think business, when you say business, people are often thinking about the big corporate side of things. And you know, we're moving, we're altering, we're changing, not just because of the times, but we already were doing this, where it's more about the small businesses becoming recognized, more about the importance of them, as well as the digital business market, you know, because that's also something that's new and is taken over as well, which you're talking about there. So the idea of social inclusion, diversity, I mean, it's good to hear that that's a part of the aims of the Good Business Festival, because because I attended like talks that you guys had at the BME, the British Media Experience, right? And the thing about that was, you know, it was great to see that like people from the what's it, Claire McCulkin from the Capital Culture, or Steve Rotherham, you know, the Metro Mayor, that kind of thing, was there, you know, to kind of like talk about business even way before, because I thought the Good Business Festival was doing something in the summer, you know, which you're now saying it's October. But maybe your plans were to do something in the summer, but you're not waiting to October to get the word out about the Good Business Festival. You know, does that sound about right? That
Yeah,
you want to engage people sooner than later.
you're correct on that bit, but the festival was always scheduled for the 5th to the 9th of October. But we don't see the Good Business Festival as just something that happens over 3 or 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Well, it is a series of engagement, because it's important that we create a legacy in terms of engagement with the business community leading up to the festival, and
Got it.
collaborate with best practices within various industries to identify what are the good practices, what are the best practices, what are the learning. And it is important that I emphasize that whilst this is a global festival taking place in Liverpool City Region, and as you rightfully said, our landscape is pretty much predominantly small and micro and small businesses. So what our challenge is to bring the major best practices nationally, globally, to our platform and challenge that to engage with the smaller micro businesses to engage in a learning process. How do you become a big business? How do you become
Yeah.
a sustainable business? But more importantly, how do the big businesses engage with these micro businesses within their supply chain? Because we
Mm-hmm.
want the micro businesses to not believe that we're coming to preach to them. We want them to understand why it is in their interest to engage with the Good Business Festival. Why is it in their interest to look to understand that for them to survive in the 21st century, they have to embed sustainable business practices within their, their whole network. Some of those may cost money. Some of those they may not be able to implement immediately, but we want to
Mm-hmm.
put them on the pathway, and that is the reason why it cannot just be left to the festival in October. We have to have a series of engagement leading up to and perhaps beyond the Good Business Festival.
Yeah, no. It's important to clarify all of that and everything. So, I mean, like, there's one more project that is like near dear to your heart. I'm pretty sure there's 1,000 more. you know, um, we just heard that like the Summer Olympics, has been pushed to 2021. But you already were aware of the Special Olympics that was actually coming here to Liverpool for February. Can you talk a little bit about the Special Olympics and maybe the change in plans or alterations or whatever?
Well, at the moment, there isn't any official argument that we will change the date of the
Because it's so far
Special
away. Yeah.
Olympics. It's still scheduled for the first and second week in February of 2021, and we're very proud that Liverpool won the bid to stage the Special Olympics in 2021. We don't know if COVID-19 and all the domino effect from that will have an effect on us staging the Special Olympics in 2021. Especially bearing in mind what you said, that the Summer Olympics have now been moved from summer 21 to summer 20 to summer 21 in Japan, and that may have other domino effect on other major sporting events. We don't know yet, but at this present moment, we're still down for February 2021, and like I said before, it's a proud moment for Liverpool, who has a tradition of major sporting events. We just had in 2019 the Netball World Cup, which was phenomenally successful, and we, as it happened, all the finalists were Commonwealth countries. So the Commonwealth Association was able to link into that and promote the Commonwealth and the Commonwealth community that came into Liverpool towards the final, and we engaged with them in a phenomenal way. And
I mean, it was great because people were like actually stopped out onto the docks watching. If they weren't in the stadium, they can watch it on the big screen. So it was a huge achievement there, wasn't it?
It was a huge achievement, and I can see the same happening in 2021 for the Special Olympics, where the eyes of the world will be on Liverpool again, and we will be sending a message out around inclusivity. We sending a message out that all our sporting heroes within the Special Olympics are phenomenal athletes. We will be promoting the families who have been looking after these athletes with all sorts of different, special requirements, hence the name Special Olympics. But these are phenomenal athletes. These are phenomenal individuals who go the extra length to perform, and we want Liverpool to be seen as the place where these achievements are celebrated. And
Yeah.
again, that fits into the whole concept of inclusive Liverpool and inclusivity as being in the DNA of Liverpool. And likewise, just, talk about Special Olympics, you think of where in the UK would this fit? It fits Liverpool. Likewise, the
Yeah.
Good Business Festival. Where in the UK would it fit to have a festival known as the Good Business Festival? Liverpool is the place, and that
Mhm.
is what we're so excited about. The fact that Liverpool is constantly being seen globally, and I'm happy to be part of that entire movement where we promote the diversity of our communities. We promote the skills which are available, and it's important that you say, got various projects on my desk, but it's important that I engage with a wide community to get
Mm.
involvement and to get engagement to make sure that we're not washing anything. We're truly authentic in what we say when we talk about the fact that yes, we've had problems in the past, but our best days are ahead of us, and we can only do that if we truly engage and represent this whole concept of an inclusive society.
Well, I gotta say, Garth, it's been really like a pleasure having this conversation with you because, like, for one, I mean the sense of pride and accomplishment in your voice and talking about these things is amazing, and I think it's just something that we need right now. Is this kind of like positivity and this strive for something really special, Because I mean, like, it's better to look at things more on a hope of salvation than in the doom and gloom and stuff. So it's really amazing to hear about that Special Olympics because I remember there was a campaign where I think it was like either it was the last Special Olympics or the one before where it was like the superhumans. It was like it is something really to celebrate people's diversity even in that kind in the physical diversity. And so it's glad. Oh, I'm glad that that's something that will take place here in Liverpool. It is just another, like you said, another notch on its belt, so to speak. And then also too is like what you were just saying about, the Good Business Festival. That seems to be another thing that is not just local, but it's expansive, isn't it? It doesn't just, it's something just Liverpool, isn't it? I mean, people could come from out far and wide from outside of Liverpool to be involved in your Good Business Festival, isn't it?
That's correct. That's correct. And
Yeah.
my specific role within the Good Business Festival is to engage and collaborate with the business communities across the entire city region, right? So it is, I am very evangelical about this, right? I want to make sure that when we do have the Good Business Festival, whether that happens in its full entirety in October, or whether guidelines will mean that we may have to make some changes. But whenever it happens and leading up to that event, I want to make sure that every single business across Liverpool City region, number one, is aware of the aims and objectives and values of the Good Business Festival, and two, are aware of how they can get involved, whether that be by attending the festival, whether that be by showcasing their business within the festival, or whether that be by contributing to events or knowledge sessions. And I want to make sure that there is some form of a legacy where businesses that we get on the pathway, where we get excited about what they can become in the 21st century, that we give them and we arm them with the resources for them to carry on beyond when we do hold the festival. That is my passion, and I will just carry that wherever I can, because I'm enthusiastic about this because I believe in what it can achieve, and I believe in enthusing businesses and people to get involved. People get involved. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but we can't do this on our own. We want you involved. The Commonwealth needs you. The Good Business Festival needs you. Liverpool needs you. Let's get involved and make this a better world.
Now I gotta tell you, man, I gotta end it on there because that was one powerful call to action, my brother. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure people know where to find Garth Dallas, but please, if you see this video, like and subscribe. But I would also just say, Good Business Festival, October, Special Olympics, February 2021. Right? I'm pretty sure that you will hear about the Commonwealth again. And I just want to once again thank my guest, Garth Dallas. Thank you, Garth.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. And I'm Chase Johnson Lynch. You've been watching the Community Podcast Radio on Big Condo Radio. And thank you very much. And we out of here.
Big up, Big Condo.